a young child, most of my time was spent making something or other. My first memory of making something was probably an occasion when I was banished to my room from some misdemeanour. Whilst I was there, I decided that I would make a model of Concorde using toilet rolls and cardboard and other bits and pieces that were lying about. As I got a bit older, I became a little bit more adventurous and started taking things apart and playing about with things like my dad's car, dismantling the dashboard or taking the wing mirrors off. That kind of progressed into a sort of more substantial interest in how things worked. I enjoyed being at school for the most part. Geography I liked, and the practical subjects, we did technical drawing and metalwork and woodwork, but probably the overriding thing was a subject needed for me to have relevance. I have lots of memories of Dad going off to work and coming home again, and we used to wait for him at the end of the road when he came home, and he'd stop and pick us up and give us a lift the 300 yards back up to the house, which was always very exciting. And I remember the smell of the office on his clothes.
I didn't force him to come to BTA. He was offered an apprenticeship with Rolls-Royce, with Jaguar and GC in rugby, and he decided to take the one in rugby, which was probably made good sense because he didn't have to travel. Yeah, we were very pleased about that because it meant he had a good future.
Being an apprentice was just the most wonderful experience, possibly the best days that I can remember. This was where the training school was, where I started my apprenticeship, my time down here, and it was built on roughly where this car park is, which is quite apt because that's where they've built the new college. But that was at the end of the main drive, and this was all buildings all the way up there. We had a lot of fun, that's for sure, and some of it was probably a bit close to the knuckle sometimes, but that you get that in that kind of an environment. We had Building 92 over here, which was where we did most of the manufacturing and the building of the control gear, and I remember working in the stores and working on the shop floor and the test department, and working in engineering, and then in the offices. And as apprentices, we would work in every department in the company, and we'd learn how every individual little part of the business worked, from working in the stores, the shop floor, every aspect of the company. Moving into a scenario where I was earning money and doing something I thoroughly enjoyed, well, that was just a fantastic time in my life. But what is upsetting is that it has been flattened and bulldozed, and there is very little, if any, recognition of all the wonderful world-leading and life-changing events and creations that the very many men and women that worked there were responsible for. When working in the field of off-grid power and developing a relationship with companies that made and supplied generators, diesel generators, that their use in certain applications, such as in the construction industry or events, was incredibly inefficient. So this is one of our development units in a state of semi-completion. How did Off-Grid Energy come about as a company? Well, in 2008 there was a sudden and significant downturn in the economy, and The marine industry and the automotive sectors took a very, very big hit. And as time then progressed on over the next couple of years from there, we evolved F-Grid Energy as a business or as a brand, and the opportunities grew with it. Probably the most interesting and eye-opening opportunity was when we were asked to provide power solution for a hospital in Haiti, a clinic at the time actually, and in many parts of the developing world electricity supply is rationed, so power goes on and on randomly and there's no real control over it, and this particular organisation was after a reliable power supply without the expense of running a generator constantly. So we put together a solution for them which we built and sent over, and they then had difficulties in installing and commissioning the system, and cutting a long story short, it was necessary to go out there and make it work.
Hey Saul, good?
It was also a privilege to get involved in doing something that, using the experience and skills that you've gained to do something really worthy. And I've been out since on another 2 occasions with the possibility of needing to go out there again. And yeah, I mean, it's an experience I'll keep with me forever. And something that's been, we've been really proud to get involved with. It has been a challenge. The biggest obstacle to overcome is finding people. I'm very pleased to say that we've been able to put together a great team of people. Am I happy with everything? I'm incredibly happy. Yeah, I feel privileged. Really, I think is the truth. I enjoy what I'm doing, and I see a bright future, and I can touch my goals, touch my dreams, and that's very satisfying.